Hi, thank you very much for watching this YouTube clip today. What we are doing at Did Teach is we are having conversations with franchises and hopefully franchisors, because what we want to do is we want to understand a bit more about their business model. We want to see if it's we know it's the right fit for teachers, but we want to see how and why, and kind of delve a bit deeper and understand why do they do what they do, what's great about what they do. And I think this is important because it can be a really good option for teachers to take on a franchise. And we'll hear a bit more from Julie, because she's got a teacher at the moment who is working through that process of building up her business whilst teaching. So we'll hear about that. But thank you very much for joining us. So Julie is from Techytots. You're the founder and director, aren't you, of Techytots? And it's a great one for teachers. The reason being is you work very, very closely, obviously with young people, but with schools as well. Can you tell me a bit more about your relationship that you have with schools?
Yeah, absolutely. So we go in and we work from EYFS all the way through to Key Stage 2, and we do generally after school coding clubs. So we do a lot of clubs. The majority of it is after school clubs, and we also do school enrichment days. So having that relationship with the schools, they can see the benefit of having us as an after school club. The parents love it because it's more technical, and the coding skills that the children learn are like life skills, and the children absolutely love coming to our clubs. So it works really well in that sense. And we work with, just where I am in my area, we've got 16 after school clubs a week running. A lot of schools we're in more than one day a week. We literally started one this term, and we had 35 on the waiting list. So we've started a lunchtime club as well, and we've still got 20 on that waiting list. So it's just so popular with the parents as well as the children, and it really adds value to what the children are learning in school. So if they're doing computing on a computer, they come to us and they've got hands-on coding. So we don't use any laptops or anything. It's all hands-on toys that they're using to do their coding.
I think that's the thing that surprised me the most when I first was introduced to Techytots, and I was like, well, where's the tech? Where's the computer? And I thought that was really interesting, this idea about playing. And it's so powerful. And we know as teachers that a lot of the things that you learn, you experiment, you play with, you have fun with. Tell me a bit more about like the lack of tech in Techytots then. How does that
that's
work?
it. We feel like because they have tech, all schools now have a reasonable ICT suite. Some have better than others, but they've all got that ICT suite. So they've all got computers or laptops that they're learning on. So to make it that they can put what they're learning on a screen into practice and do it with a robot, just makes so much difference, because it's more fun. They're not sat at a table, they can move around the room, they've got a bit of freedom with that of what they can do. We've got one robot that you can make burp, which everyone thinks is the most amazing thing in the world, as I'm sure you can imagine. Cool. And because we use Bluetooth, we're not online with anything, so there's no danger for the kids finding anything they shouldn't, especially the really little ones that we work with. There's no internet. Some of them will try because they all know how to work a Kindle and an iPad, but they'll go, oh, I don't know how this happened, but they can't connect to anything even if they try, because it's just safer that way for us. We haven't got to constantly worry that they're going to stumble across something that they shouldn't, and it means peace of mind for parents as well.
That's a really good point, because I think the safeguarding issue online is just immense, isn't it? It's really quite scary. And so you completely removing that just means that they can just get on having fun, can't they? And they're not in danger of, like you say, seeing anything or people taking any of their information either, which is great. Yeah.
Exactly.
And what do the schools say about the clubs? Obviously, they're really popular because you've had to extend them. But do you ever get the senior leadership team popping in and seeing the sessions, or do you work with a particular teacher who just loves tech? How does it work?
So we run them quite independently. So the schools obviously allow us in to use their spaces, but we're generally in that space on our own. You do get teachers popping in and out, and the feedback is all really good. It's all. I think what was the quote? I got a quote from one of the teachers that it was very busy, but like you could see that they were learning, and it's like it's a very busy classroom, but also fun and the children don't realize how much they're learning, which is, we all know they learn through play is the best way for children to learn. And for us, it's great. So we have a sort of a sit down at the beginning, talk about what we're going to learn this week, send them out to do their activities on the different robots. And then at the end, we come back together, recap what we've learned, give everybody a sticker, and then they go home. It's like, and they're like, they just don't realize that, they've learned what an algorithm is this week. They might not even be able to say the word algorithm, the really little ones, but they know, they've got an idea of what it is. And that's what it is with the young ones, just giving them that foundational idea so that as they go through school, they've got that base. It's like anything, isn't it? Like reading, writing, you've got to have that base to build upon.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what we're sort of doing.
And we know as adults, like, how important those skills are, aren't they? For, those coding skills. If you can do those things yourself, and it's quite logical, isn't it, in the progression?
Yeah.
If you can do some of that yourself, then, that's great. You can save money, you can save time, you can understand what's being sent to you and, interact. And yeah, I think it's such an important skill to learn.
Well,
Sorry.
I was going to say, almost every career now, you need to have at least a base knowledge of coding. You've got kids going to university learning psychology who have got to do a term of coding. It doesn't seem to relate, but it's just so important in every aspect going forward that if we can get in young with them and just start that seed of knowledge, it makes such a difference.
Yeah. So tell me about, like, how do they play and then code? Like, how does that journey, what does it physically look like in the classroom?
So we have, so like I say, we have a sort of sit down when we first get there, and we'll generally have a group activity, and that can be as simple as one of the children be a robot and the other child, one of the others, give them instructions to get around the room. So we were doing sort of instructions with purpose last week, and it was literally one of the boys stood up and the other boy coded him to a table, and it was precise. So it was like, walk forward, and we were like, well, how many steps does he need to walk forward? We need to think about precise instructions. So we'll do that as a group, and then we have like a carousel of activities. So we've got a variety of different robots that they work on, and the challenge is, one of them is to give the instructions. They work in pairs. The other one will have a look and see if they think they're the right instructions, and then between them they will get it correct and program the robot to do a specific task, and then they'll move on to the next one, and again another task with a different robot. And we don't always get time to go on all the robots, and then we have to make a list of who's going on which one first next week, because it's, well, I didn't get to go on that one. Somebody always is a favourite one. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great. And can you tell us a bit more about this new teacher that's come on board? How does it work for a teacher who's, they love technology, they love coding, they love working with children. So your franchise is a perfect fit that ticks all those boxes. But what's the reality like? Tell us about your new teacher, please.
So obviously it's really scary. So I didn't found Techytots. I started as a franchisee in 2018. That's all right. And I took over as the franchisor 2 years ago. So I know how scary that initial, I can really put myself in your shoes because I've been there sort of. And it's a big leap. You've got a teacher's salary, which, is what you're used to. So to leave that completely and start from scratch is quite a big leap. So what we've got, our latest franchisee is a secondary school teacher, and she's actually still teaching 3 days a week and building up her business on the other day. So she started with us in October, and she's already got sort of 2 classes a week running, and she's done some groups with her local scout group. So we work with Rainbows and Brownies and Scouts as well. We can help with their badge work. So she's already sort of building that business. She's had a school get in touch with her recently about going in and doing clubs, but she's got that guaranteed 3 days a week income. So she knows that she's okay while she builds her business. And it is quite scary. I mean, we've got our Horsham franchisee. She still works 2 days a week because she loves her other job. She works with vulnerable children as well. So she doesn't want to give that up. So she works 2 days a week there and 3 days a week for Techytots. So it doesn't have to be full time. Yeah. We ask that you do 4 hours a week of teaching Techytots classes as a minimum. But that can be however you want that 4 hours to look. It doesn't have to be 4 after school clubs. It could be 2 hours on a Saturday, a scout group. It's really quite flexible how you do that. And 4 hours of teaching means about 6 hours altogether. Once you do your prep, obviously there's marketing on top of that, but the actual physically teaching, it's 4 hours a week, which is manageable around another job.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's quite an interesting concept, isn't it? It doesn't have to be, right, I'm leaving teaching, I'm starting a franchise. It can be this sort of gradual step, a bit like the coding to get to the table. It's you don't have to leap there. You can just take these little steps, which is really nice. And how's she finding it? Is she enjoying it?
Yeah, she really is. We've actually got a franchise. We do a franchise meeting every month, so it's the first Monday. So we've got one tonight. But I suppose I've been speaking to her regularly. Obviously, as a new franchisee, you have more interaction with me than you do sort of 4 years down the line. But she said the kids, like she's done, like say, 2. Can't remember if it's Scouts or Beavers. It's terrible. She's done 2, I think, Scout groups, and they absolutely loved it, and it's so much fun. To be able to see the kids enjoy it. She said when she first joined, she said it's really weird because she's used to just turning up and children being there, not having to actually find the children to come. So that's the difference, I think, is that normally she turns up at a class and obviously the kids are already there. So that side of things, we've done loads of support. We've had, social media training, marketing training, as much, I'm on the end of the phone and done screen records, all of that for her to help with that side, which is the side that we find teachers in general, it's a very generalization, but that's the bit that they struggle with. There's actual teaching the class they can do so easily. They can read a lesson plan, they know how to do that. But the business side of things, we offer a lot of support because we understand that, and like I say, having been there, I know how scary that is. That first class you walk into, you think, I don't know anything. Oh my God, where's all my training gone? Oh my God, what if nobody comes? It's like.
And what if you don't, you like tech, but you've got no experience of coding? What's the training like for that, Julie?
So we give all the training. So you don't need to, we always feel that the most important thing is that you want to work with children and you know how to work with children, because that's a skill completely in its own, is to be able to manage a class. Our classes are only 14 children, so it's not a full class, but that's still a lot of children if you've never managed a class. All the coding side of things we teach, as you come on board, it's all part of the training package. And what I tend to say is, what you've got to remember is we're teaching children, so you don't need to know Python or Java or any of these coding languages. You need to know how to break down what debugging means, and we've got a lesson plan that tells you how to do that. So you learn yourself as you come through it. None of our franchisees have got a coding background, but we all are teaching the children to code. So it's just remembering the age groups that you're teaching, and that actually, as you get to year 6, they sometimes know a bit more than you do, but you're still not teaching them to write an app. You're still just teaching them those fundamentals. So it's remembering that it sounds scarier than it is.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Sort of a big challenge to get across is that you think coding, you think you've got to have this huge background, and you really haven't.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And in terms of, when I was teaching, I sort of have my own creativity with the lessons. I can sort of tweak them. Do they have that, or is it sort of set in stone? This is the lesson, and this is what you do, or can they kind of sort of manage that and tweak those lessons?
So we worked with curriculum advisors to get the lesson plans so that they are in line with the national curriculum. But obviously there's some classes, every class is different. So you might have, we have like different levels. So we have progression activities as well as sort of the sort of beginner activities. But you might have a couple of children in your class that are amazing. And yes, so if you need to adapt that, then, you work with what you've got in front of you. A lesson plan is very general for every child across the UK. It's not gonna necessarily meet all of their needs. So there is time. We try to tie in with themes as well. So like this week we've got Children's Mental Health Week, and there's oh my God, Internet Safety Day. Sorry, I completely forgot what that was. So our activities are about that as well. So we try and make sure that everybody uses the same themes. So for example, we'll have tomorrow, the robots will collect things that you can do online and things that are unsafe online. So it's reinforcing that as well as the coding activity. So it's things like, do you give your name and address out? Do you tell people where you live? And they choose whether that's what they should or shouldn't do. So we try and sort of incorporate those activities as well.
That's really good, because it's keeping the content really fresh and really relevant, isn't it? So if you've done that class, it's not like tick, you've done that class and you don't need it anymore. There's a different slant to it. I like that.
Yeah, we try and do that, and it works well with schools as well, because if they're obviously doing internet safety and things like that, so we can work with them to follow that theme.
Yeah, fantastic. And I wanted to talk about your discovery day that you've got coming up. Now, to start with, for teachers, what is a discovery day? Can you unpick what that means?
Absolutely. So we do ours online. Some people do discovery days in person. We do ours online at the moment because more people can attend. It's basically a Zoom. It's a bit like this, where I have a presentation that I go through, tells you all about Techytots, how it works, and you just come along and find out. It's a fact-finding mission, really. It's no obligation. You can come and you can never talk to me again, and that's fine if it's not the right fit for you. Obviously, hopefully it will be the right fit for you, and you can go on and ask questions. But it's purely fact-finding. So we've got ours online. We've done a Saturday because hopefully that will be more open for teachers, because we know how busy everybody is. And it's about an hour, sometimes a bit longer if we get lots of questions. And it's a lot of me talking. And we try and get a franchisee come along so you can ask questions to somebody else that's actually in the business as well. And it's purely fact finding. The key thing is it's no obligation. If it's something that you're interested in and you want to find out how it works in more detail, then you come to a discovery event, and then you've got all the information to take away, and from that you can book a one-to-one call with me and we can go through questions, or you can ask questions on the day, if you're comfortable asking them in front of other people.
I guess that teachers are at different stages in what they're thinking about doing, if they're thinking about starting a business, so they could come to this day and just have it in the back of their mind that eventually they might like to take on a franchise. It doesn't mean they have to take one there and then, does it?
Absolutely. I mean, like I say, our latest franchisee, Techytots Brentwood, she came to a discovery day. It was last March, because she came to view one of our Easter sessions, and then joined us in October. So it is, I know from experience, it's not something that you can, if you're ready, perfect, and you might want to sort of go straight away. But also, you need to think about these things. It's a big decision, and we appreciate that. So we'd never expect somebody to come on a Saturday and join us on a Monday. I mean, that would, I would say no, even, because you need time to research and do your own sort of research on the business as well. So we want to make sure that you're fully informed and happy with that decision.
Yeah. And if they can't make that particular date, is it recorded? Can you send it out to them, or are there other dates that are coming up?
So we try and do sort of one every other month. So there's always sort of another one. But if you want to find out and you can't, you can just book a call in with me, and it's the same thing but on a one-to-one basis, basically. And we'll just have a chat through everything. I'm always happy to talk to anybody, really. Techytots is my specialist subject, so I'm always happy to talk about it. It's never a chore. And again, even if you're doing a one-to-one call, there's still no obligation. It's we understand that you need to find out all your information.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And once you've got that, you can make a decision, can't you, if it's the right fit for you. And like you say, you can, build up a business, and that can then become your income. And then if you want a sort of bit more of a flexible work-life balance, then Techytots can give that to you, can't it? But if you want to keep your foot in the door teaching, you can do that as well. And so it's, it's about finding the right fit for you as an individual, not just, starting a franchise and that's it, you're forgetting that you were ever a teacher. You can sort of merge. Fantastic. So the date of your discovery day, the one coming up, is
Saturday the 19th, I think. I'm going to have to check. That's terrible, isn't it? I should have checked that before.
I'm going to put a link to it in the chat as well. So, if you're interested, you can go and have a look at Julie's website, see all the different activities that they do within schools and outside of schools as well, because it's not just a school-based thing, is it? You can, like you say, run clubs and activities and parties. So all of that will be on there. So I'll put the link in the bottom, and I'll put the link to the Discovery Day as well. And I guess you're not limited, are you, with how many people can attend, because you're online?
Exactly. It's actually Saturday the 17th. I just double checked.
I was going to say it's the 17th, and I didn't want to say.
But yeah, because it's online, yeah, exactly. As many people that want to attend can, and there's a section at the end for questions. And the most important thing for me as a franchisor is being open and honest. I want people to come on board that are fully aware of what they're doing, that understand the concept, and they're invested in Techytots as much as we are. So there's no hard sell in that sense. I don't just want to take everybody. I want to make sure that we're the right fit for each other. So it's as many people that want to come along and find out can, and if anyone wants a private chat, if they're not comfortable in a sort of group environment, I'm more than happy with that as well.
Oh, that's brilliant. Fantastic. And finally, are there any other exciting plans for Techytots this year? Have you got anything new on the horizon that you can share with us?
Well, we're going to be at the International Franchise Show this year, so it's the first time we've been there, and we're lots of conferences. We're members of ICAP, which is the Institute of Children's Activity Providers, and the Children's Activities Association, and I've just become a member of the committee for the Children's Activities Association, so I'm going to be more involved, which I'm really excited about, just to be able to get involved in that and raise sort of the standards. So yeah, there's those things. We've just launched the birthday party, so that's our big thing this year, is that we're going to start doing the birthday parties, which I'm really looking forward to, because I think they're going to be so much fun. And we've already had some inquiries from some of our parents that come to our after school clubs about it, so that's really exciting as well.
That's great. Sounds like everything's going in the right direction for you guys. And I'm so pleased to have a brand like Techytots on our franchise board. I think it's really important, the work that you're doing, and this idea of playing and coding and learning is so important in this generation. So yes, thank you very much for your time today, Julie. And thank you guys for watching. Please do click on the link, arrange a chat with Julie. Like she said, she's more than happy to have a chat with you. And yeah, hopefully Techytots will be the right fit for you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.